So the Chincana project has been excavating small portions of the earth next to these cyclopean fortifications, and what they're finding is incredible. They've even stumbled across what they believe may be a collapsed tunnel system. Local lore and legend speaks of vast underground networks below Sacsayhuamán.
In 1923, a teenager stepped into a tunnel beneath Sacsayhuamán and was never seen again. Weeks later, only scorched walls remained. No body, no answers. Now, a century on, science is confirming what locals have whispered for generations.
What the team have been discovering is that these multi-ton, precision-placed, anti-earthquake engineered cyclopean-style walls.
Beneath these stones lies something hidden, ancient, and engineered, and what they found shouldn't exist. The Vanished Boy and the Sealed Tunnel. It began with a story almost too strange to believe, except that it's recorded in both government silence and scorched stone. In 1923, a local teenager entered a narrow passage hidden beneath the fortress of Sacsayhuamán, torch in hand. The tunnel had long been rumored among villagers, said to lead somewhere deep beneath the Andes. When he didn't return, his family pleaded with authorities to search for him. A team was eventually dispatched. They found only collapsed rock, burn marks on the tunnel walls, and a silence that seemed to echo back centuries. The Peruvian government responded by sealing the entrance permanently. No public explanation was ever offered, and no official report was released. The story faded into legend, buried beneath centuries of stone and silence. But the mystery didn't die. It lingered beneath tourists' feet, waiting. Because Sacsayhuamán is more than a marvel of ancient architecture. It is a monument with a lid, and what lies beneath that lid has never been fully explored. Not because it can't be, but because those who tried disappeared. Secrets beneath the stone. To most visitors, Sacsayhuamán is a stunning relic of Inca ingenuity. Massive walls of stone stacked with such precision that not even a sheet of paper fits between them. Some of the boulders weigh over 200 tons, yet they lock into each other with no mortar. Arranged in jagged lines that have withstood centuries of earthquakes. Spanish buildings crumbled. These stones held, but what's visible above ground may only be the beginning. In the 2010s, researchers arrived with ground-penetrating radar, aiming their instruments not at the walls, but at what lay below. The data sent shockwaves through the archaeological community. Beneath the fortress, radar revealed voids. Massive angular chambers and sharply cut corridors carved into solid bedrock. They weren't natural caves. The shapes were too linear, the drops too precise, the structure too purposeful. Some of these tunnels appear to run for kilometers, including one believed to stretch from Sacsayhuamán to the Coricancha temple at the heart of Cusco. If true, it would mean ancient builders tunneled through mountains with engineering accuracy modern tools struggle to replicate. So why haven't we explored them? Because access has been denied, and those few who entered never came out. The tired stone and the forbidden staircase. A short walk from the fortress, resting awkwardly against a hillside, lies an enormous stone called La Piedra Cansada, the tired stone. Nearly 9 meters long and weighing over 200 tons, it looks as if it was abandoned mid-journey, too heavy to move any farther. Local legend says thousands of laborers were hauling it from a distant quarry when it slipped, crushing a procession beneath its weight. After the disaster, it was declared cursed. The ground where it fell became sacred and off-limits. But behind the stone is something stranger than myth. Hidden beneath rubble and growth sits a rectangular cavity carved into the earth. Early 20th century explorers described it as a formal entrance, large enough to walk through. They claimed it led into a vast subterranean passage beneath the Chincana rock formations. Spanish chroniclers like Garcilaso de la Vega and Cieza de León had written centuries earlier about a tunnel beginning at this very location, one that supposedly led to vaults beneath the Coricancha, filled with golden statues and treasures hidden from invading conquistadors. In 1989, a team of local and German researchers reopened the area. According to unpublished field notes, they discovered a man-made cavity nearly 4 meters deep. The walls bore tool marks. A stone stairway began to descend into the dark. But within days, the project was shut down. Officials cited hillside instability. Rumors said otherwise. Symbols had been found, etched into the stone in a language older than Quechua, older than Spanish. No photos were released, no follow-up allowed, and to this day, the tired stone hasn't moved. The core no one admits exists. While most eyes are drawn to the fortress's towering outer walls, the greatest clue to its origin may lie in what supports them. Beneath the visible structure is a deeper tier, less refined, more massive, and in some ways even more mysterious. These buried stones, exposed only in limited areas due to erosion or partial excavation, follow no known Inca pattern. In fact, they contradict everything the Inca are known for. Typically, Inca builders improved their precision over generations. Yet here, the oldest-looking stones lie beneath the more polished upper layers. Geologist Dr. Kurt Hall, who studied the site's stratigraphy in the late 20th century, observed something even more troubling. Some of these foundation stones weren't just placed on bedrock. They were carved into it, as if the mountain itself had been sculpted from the inside out. The tool marks were broad and deep, inconsistent with the rhythmic hammering of Inca stonework. This construction could not have been done with copper chisels and stone hammers. The tools required don't match the materials available. Even more bizarre, geological layers suggest that portions of the lower structure were laid before the current hill fully formed, implying the terrain was reshaped around the architecture, not the other way around. This has led to a controversial theory. The Incas didn't build the original core of Sacsayhuamán, they found it. They expanded on something ancient, something left behind. Oral traditions passed down by Quechua elders describe the site as having been built from the inside out. Long dismissed as folklore, that phrase now sounds remarkably literal. When the stones speak. Beyond architecture and engineering, Sacsayhuamán appears to interact with its environment in ways modern science is only beginning to measure. Visitors have long reported strange acoustic effects between the zigzagging walls. Sounds, footsteps, voices, even claps don't fade naturally. Instead, they bounce, echo, and sometimes swell unnaturally, as if the stones themselves are shaping the air. In 2005, researchers from the University of San Marcos conducted acoustic resonance testing at the site. They discovered that frequencies between 200 and 500 hertz reverberated more powerfully between the megalithic walls than in surrounding terrain. The layout of the fortress seemed to amplify specific tones. Whether intentional or incidental, the effect is real. Certain sounds are sustained unnaturally, as though caught in a sonic corridor. And then there are the vibrations. In 2018, a National Geographic-supported team placed low-frequency sensors near the Cocha area of the site. At dawn and dusk, they recorded deep rhythmic pulses, a slow, wave-like pattern emerging from the earth itself. Officially, it was dismissed as wind resonating through porous stone. But one researcher privately speculated the stones could be responding to underground cavities or energy sources, subtly tuning the structure. Ancient Andean myths speak of stones that awaken, that speak, that breathe. For centuries, these were dismissed as metaphor. But what if they are not? What if the fortress wasn't just built to endure earthquakes, or even to track the sun? What if it was designed to listen? The Muon discovery. No one will investigate. In 2019, researchers turned to a technology originally developed to peer inside Egypt's Great Pyramid, muon tomography. By tracking cosmic particles as they pass through matter, this method reveals differences in density, making it possible to detect voids or chambers hidden within solid rock, without a single shovel of excavation. Applied near Cusco's historic core, muon detectors recorded something entirely unexpected. Beneath parts of the city, including zones suspiciously close to where the Sacsayhuamán to Coricancha tunnel is rumored to end, scans revealed a dome-shaped void over 10 meters wide. The cavity had no visible surface opening. It sat encased within solid stone, right where oral traditions and Spanish colonial chronicles claim hidden passageways once ran. The implications were staggering. It offered independent, non-invasive scientific confirmation that something man-made, or at least highly unnatural, lies buried exactly where the legends have always pointed. And yet, despite this breakthrough, no excavation followed. No permits were issued. Officials offered no timeline, no explanation, only silence. For a site visited by millions and celebrated worldwide, the hesitation is striking. One researcher noted the irony. In Egypt, Muon results triggered global headlines. In Peru, they triggered nothing at all. It was as if the discovery had never happened. And so the cavity remains untouched, locked beneath a city that may be resting atop a vast and ancient infrastructure we were never meant to uncover. If this is what we can detect with particle physics, what else lies buried that instruments haven't found yet? The stones that breathe, hum, and remember. To those who live near Sacsayhuamán, the fortress is not just a relic, it's alive. Local residents have described strange phenomena for generations. Deep, almost imperceptible pulses at sunrise and sunset, a hum beneath their feet, and compass needles that spin erratically near certain joints in the stone. Scientists have recorded magnetic anomalies at the site, and drone navigation systems occasionally fail for no clear reason. These experiences blur the line between myth and measurement. When ancient Quechua stories speak of stones that breathe and awaken, modern researchers now listen with less skepticism. The fortress seems to interact with its environment, not just structurally, but energetically. Yet, for all this, access to the tunnels remains sealed. Exploration permits are repeatedly denied. The technology to peer beneath the surface exists, and the evidence is mounting, but the will to confront it openly appears absent. What endures instead is silence, from the government, from institutions, from the ground itself. The truth beneath Sacsayhuamán may never come by force, only by listening. To the silence of sealed stone, to the rhythms carved into earth, to the stories dismissed as myth. Because sometimes, what we bury isn't just history. It's a memory too dangerous to remember and too powerful to forget.